Hold up. Let him
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Definitely appreciate the support. This will be part 3 of the Cover 2 match series. This will be pretty quick. Obviously, go check out the first 2 parts. Part 1 was obviously the intro to it. Part 2, I went a little bit further, and then I dropped a couple of videos where I only played Cover 2 throughout the entire game. And I touched on some of the variants of Cover 2 throughout those videos. Okay, now one thing, this video will be about a pressure and the theory behind it really quickly. Why don't I just go directly to the practice field? All right guys, so you got to turn match on, and then I go and pick Cover 2. I'll be real quick with this. We're going to select Cover 2, showcase how we get into Cover 2 match. Obviously, go check out part 1 and part 2 where I go over that, and then I went through 2 different videos where all I played was Cover 2 match, and well, the different variants of Cover 2 in those videos. So this is regular Cover 2, and with match on, they do have some matching principles in it, depending on how the offense sends out its routes. But we're going to get into 2 match, and all we do is we put both outside corners into soft squat, and then we take our middle player and we put him into anything but his original assignment. So you can put him in a QB spy, you can put him on man-to-man on the back. I just tend to, I've gotten in a repetition of putting him into deep zone, okay? And what we have to do when we play this defense, we have to user the number 3. I mean the middle player here. We have to user him to make this defense work, okay? Now they'll still match if you don't user him, but if you don't user him, no one relates to the number 3 because he just goes to the deep middle, unless you put him in man-to-man with the back. But then that doesn't really work the way you would want it to, because if the back goes to the flat and there's like a new number 3, theoretically they would switch if you're not on that backer, because they do have the funnel concept, but just easier to have it this way with 2 match. And I'll get into what happens if you do funnel it, okay? So you guys saw the route combination. Well, you're going to see it right there. And I think I'm going to change the back so we can get to the point here. There it is. With these guys going up the field, they're not going to play traditional zone because they're matching. They're actually going to match these routes going upfield because it's 2 routes going deep. Now, if one of these guys were to stay underneath, then it would play almost like traditional Cover 2 zone. But because both of these routes go deep, it converts into pretty much 2-man, right, on this side of the field. But on this side of the field, because there's only one going deep, they play like traditional Cover 2. And that's the benefit of 2 match. Remember, split safety structured defenses are defenses in which they're really not dependent on each other on each side of the field. So, you can really play 2-man on this side and Cover 2 zone on this side. You can play Cover 2 zone on this side and Cover 4 on this side. That's where you get Cover 6, Cover 9, etc. Well, playing 2 match, it's an adjustable coverage that can morph into 2-man, or it can stay into Cover 2 zone. It can actually turn it to 2 buster as well. It's a very I love running the coverage, especially at the beginning of the game, to kind of get a feel for what my opponent likes to do, and then I may check in and out of different defensive concepts based upon what my opponent likes to do. So anyways, we're going to relate to the number 3, that's the back. Remember in the prior videos, if he goes to the flat, then we kind of go at an angle in this direction, not looking to take the flat because we're looking for something to come back in to become the new number 3, etc. But if he comes directly at us, then we take the back and we look to stay over the top because we don't want him to get behind us. And as you can see, both of the routes on that side convert into man, and then they play traditional Cover 2 on this side. So let's get into the exotic pressure type deal. I'm going to play weak side blitz 2, right? And it's very important to kind of develop pressure packages from whatever defense you call. As you can see, I'm going to get into the same defensive play. And what we're going to do with this play is, I didn't show the pre-snap movement. Okay, I should have thrown that in here. Pre-snap, as the offense is coming to the LOS, this guy goes up to the safety position, the safety moves over to this position, and then this guy rocks down, right? So you get a lot of pre-snap movement and add an element of disguise to the coverage, but it's not really a disguise because these guys are giving the coverage away, right? And then this guy's blitzing. So what we want to do with this coverage, that's the scheme, the offense. You really don't have to do anything. You do one minor adjustment, okay? And the great thing about this coverage is we are in two match right now. Why is that? Because there's no one with the 3 receiver hook play art. As long as you get that off of the play, then these guys will be in matching responsibilities. Okay, so if both of these guys go upfield, which they will with this play, they will convert into man with the safety over the top. And then on this side, these guys will play traditional cover 2 zone because one stays underneath. Now you may ask, well, there's a problem here because there's no one to relate to the number 3, right? And that's exactly the issue. And that's the minor adjustment we make. We don't turn anyone into a zone or a man to man this guy. All I do on this play is I take the defensive end opposite side of the blitz and I relate to the number 3. Now we are playing 2 match with a pressure coming from the weak side of the formation. And it has an element of disguise to it because we're utilizing a defensive end and getting him in the back end of the coverage. This is pretty much a creeper blitz. I dropped a video on the creeper blitz. Definitely go check that out. I think that's in gun type part 2.5, where we keep the structure of the back end of the coverage because essentially this is a relate to number 3 player. However, we're sending someone from the 2nd or 3rd level on the blitz and bringing someone from the 1st level into the back end of the coverage to keep the structure like sound, right? So we still got 7 on the back end. We're still rushing 4, but the 4 that are coming at the quarterback aren't the traditional 4 defensive linemen, okay? So you'll see me do that here. What I do is I click that player. Obviously, we have to select that player and relate to the number 3. And I just hold up on the stick as I play my opponent because the defensive lineman will not come off the LOS when you hold it during the pre-snap. And right at the snap of the ball, he'll come up, and then we just relate to the number 3, okay? And the beauty about this play is we slant the defensive lineman towards the blitz, and we get a lot of free rushes from this secondary player while doing this because of the way it interacts with the offensive line. So that's a plus in this play. And it's highly deceptive. And then we're just relating to the number 3 with the defensive end. So I will show you some game footage here where I get an interception. I could have shown you a lot of plays utilizing this concept and getting interceptions and bad throws, but I think just a couple of plays will be good enough. Here I'm in Palms coverage, and in this game I was utilizing a new scheme. In this game I was trying a new blitz with cover 4 match behind it, and it wasn't having any success in this game due to the offensive line pickup. So here I'm in Palms. These guys will match routes if they go deep up the field. And over here, there's a 3-on-2 bubble, and you're in Meg when you play Palms here. And I believe he runs to the flat, he runs a corner, he runs a go. What happens is he goes to the flat, 3 receiver hook player, which will be us. We will mug inside, and then the safety's one-on-one with the corner, and he gets out leveraged to the corner. Okay, so that's neither here nor there. Throws it and he drops the ball, right? So good for us. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to utilizing not any new scheme. It's gonna play what I know because I'm at the point now where this scheme isn't working. I just want to play to go ahead and win this game. So this is where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna check into cover 2 match, traditional coverages that I run. So I go over to our guy, weak side blitz 2. Okay. So as you see, this is the pre-snap art. As I was saying, we get that rotate, rotate, rotate. So because the blitz is coming from over here, I slant the defense going that way. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? We take the defensive lineman opposite end of the blitz, and we're going to relate to the number 3. Now here you will see one of the benefits of cover 2. Okay, one of the benefits of cover 2 is when teams shift into different formations, it doesn't make things complicated for the defense. When you play cover 4 match or cover 4 match with blitzing, what I was doing, one of the ways you can attack that is by shifting into different formations and using motion, because the rules change drastically when you change the strength, the passing strength of the formation, and etc., right? But in cover 2 match, what are we going to do here, right? He's going to relate to the number 2. He's relating to the number 1. Same with these guys. And we are relating to the back as number 3. So for whatever reason, he shifted into that empty formation. And guess what? Nothing changed. That's one of the benefits of playing cover 2 and getting real good with cover 2. There's not a lot of changes on the defense. So if your opponent does a lot of shifting formations, if your defense is decent against the concepts that they're running, we can just stay in this particular concept of cover 2. Okay. So he's still going to relate to the number 2. He's still going to relate to the number 1, but we are relating to the number 3. And I know what was transpiring here. I can tell. My opponent sees this gaping hole here. He sees no one over the number 3. He doesn't know where I'm at as the user. So at the snap of the ball, he sends him on a streak. Remember the play art where he goes to the flat, he goes to the corner, he goes on a go? Well, he changed it here, right? And I only know because I watched this replay. He sends him on a go. Why would he do that? Again, because it looks like middle of the field is open and there's no one covering down on the tight end. Okay, so these guys stay in their traditional play call, corner and go. You'll see what transpires here. I'm holding up the whole time, and I'm holding more so to the inside because we want to take inside leverage on the number 3. That'll help us to the outside. Snap the ball, and now the picture for the quarterback just changed, right? Originally, he thought no one was going to be here. Little does he know we're running a creeper style cover 2 match, and we are matching this route up the field. I know I have to take him all the way, and I take inside leverage heavy on this player. So what does he do? Panics, and he wants to throw this corner route. One of the benefits of cover 2 match is we're playing inside leverage here, so it looks like the outside is open for the throw. Problem is, this guy's playing almost, I believe, what you call cover 2 buster, where he's eyeing the number 2 inside, and when he breaks to the outside, he can leak off and get an interception. And that's exactly what happens here. We get an interception, and we go ahead and score. So you know what? I'll show you one more. This guy was driving up the field, second quarter, and 11 seconds left, and I was trying a new scheme again with all of these pressure packages with match on the back end. And I'm like, you know what, he's going to score, so why don't I go to the tried and refined blitz that I like to run. Obviously, we're going to get into that right there, and we can check out how it works out. So obviously, I wait until he picks his formation so I can feel all the way comfortable. And when I see empty, I'm like, absolutely. We check into the play. Again, there's the blitz. Weak side. I already slanted my defensive line towards the blitz. We're going to get a matching concept on this side of the field if they run 2 verts. And obviously on this side, it's the same ordeal. They'll match it. And right away, you see the hand signal there. Obviously, my opponent sees that middle of the field wide open, right? Here's another thing too. Notice how I moved the safety slightly over, right? So now it's a trap. You know, it's literally like bait, right? Now, obviously, it's still a mismatch with the tight end on the defensive end, right? But we're going to use the defensive end, and we're going to relate to the number 3. And right now, I'm holding up and to the left on the analog stick. So at the snap of the ball, we immediately get out of our stance, and we're looking to play inside leverage on this route. You'll see my opponent. See, at the snap of the ball, we are climbing upfield, inside leverage. He doesn't want to throw it. He throws it to the number 2, coming across to the middle of the field. But as you know, he's matching that route, inside leverage, interception. So again, I definitely utilize this concept if you like cover 2, and it's a great defensive play call to throw into your arsenal, especially if you want to deceive opponents and trap them into making errant throws like you saw in the last couple of throws. All right, guys, hope you keep coming back, and peace.